Welcome back to the Not Carrie Bradshaw YouTube channel. In this video, I'm recapping episode 7 of the final season of Insecure. I know there's a gap there. Let's see, what's the most diplomatic way that I can say this? On this channel, I only want to discuss things that I can hype. And the past couple of episodes of Insecure really left some things to be desired. So I felt like, let me just dive back in when I'm really excited about the episode. And episode 7 gave me a little bit more of what I've been missing from the past couple of episodes. This episode, it feels like the cast is in their groove. It feels like everyone is on the same wavelength in terms of the performances. And yeah, so I'm excited to talk about this episode. I am a bit anxious though, because I'm wondering how we're going to wrap this up. We only have 3 more episodes to go. And I feel like some of the storylines that we started to get into the past couple of episodes, how are they going to tie into closing out not just a season, but closing out a series? I'm wondering, in the past episode where we dove into Nathan's situation at the barbershop with him and the other barber beefing about, you know, the guy is bringing in good clientele, but he's not reliable as an employee or as a coworker. That was a lot of story to put into a show that's only, you know, half an hour. I think it's actually a little bit less than half an hour. And I fully respect the creators and their desire to not make the show longer. But I'm curious about, if you took the time, using the real estate of your time, you only have X amount of minutes. Was this necessary story for the series finale, for the season, for the final season? So I'm curious if that's going to tie into how we close out this series, because something that I really, really wanted, especially because I'm such a huge fan of this actor, having a veteran Black actor like Harry Lennox as Lawrence's dad, I really was hoping that we were going to actually delve into Lawrence's childhood, Lawrence's family. I feel like with a final season, we kind of want things to be, for a show like this, that's not, you know, a thriller or anything like that, we kind of want to dive a little bit deeper, and then we want things to be tied off with a nice bow. Now, it's up for debate whether or not that's actually a good thing, but I would have liked to have seen like a full Lawrence episode where we like learn something about like Lawrence's parents and his childhood, because he is a core key character who we don't know about beyond his life starting with Issa. And I would kind of like to know a little bit more about him, especially as we're watching him go into fatherhood. What was it like with his father? That's kind of like story that I would have liked to have seen. So again, I'm not a show creator or a writer or anything like that. I have nothing but respect for, obviously, the creators and the writers and the actors and all of the people involved in Insecure. But again, for such a beloved show, I'm wondering how we're going to wrap this up in 3 more episodes. So it was also Thanksgiving, and I needed a break. So I took a break, and I don't feel bad about it. So anyway, let's get into episode 7. So the ladies decide to have a girls' night out at Issa's place. They are going to have drinks. They are going to smoke. They are going to get massages. They are going to go to dinner. It's going to be a twirl, or so they thought. The massages get canceled because a pipe bursts at the spa, so that doesn't work out, which is fine. You know, life happens. We regroup. We come back. We get into it. So the purpose of this whole girls' night is to help Molly decompress as she's processing and dealing with her mom's health scare. You know, her mom is doing well, recovering from the stroke, but Molly needs a little break. She needs a little tender love and care from her girls. You know, every now and again, life happens. You need your girls, and that's okay. Just as an aside, Kelly is me on a blunt. That's why I don't smoke. It's not cute. And it's one of those things where, like, you can't even hold the cough in to try to be cute in front of other people. It's embarrassing. And I felt seen in that portrayal. And that's why I just can't. So since the massages get canceled, they decide to play a game called a Questions in a Hat. And this game seems to have some Jumanji-like magic to it, where it conjures up things that need to be revealed. Or do they need to be revealed? That remains to be seen. But it conjures up exes. It conjures up, Kelly mentioned, like, her own personal retrograde. So each person puts in questions and they just go around and ask them. They pull them out of the hats, which Issa has a subscription to Lids still. Issa, what's your life, babe? So the first thing that this game reveals is that Issa is not feeling great about where her and Nathan are, given that she said, I love you, and they had that awkwardness about him reciprocating it and him telling her that she was inconsistent. And so Issa reveals that she's kind of, I gathered that Issa was just kind of ready to pull out of the relationship. You know, she says she started over before, she'll start over again. It doesn't feel like Issa is all in here, actually. And we, you know, get into that a little bit later in the episode. And then, as an aside, Trina, the questionable neighbor, stops by. Trina and Kelly are no longer good girlfriends. Trina and Kelly got a little beef because little Benjamin is either a negative influence on Kelly or Kelly is a negative influence on him. The jury's still out. We may never know. The world may never know. But I'm happy that we got a little glimpse of Trina. Again, we're wrapping up the series. We should see our faves. Sure, I'll allow it. So the next thing that the hat reveals is Molly and Torian. Now, when we last left off, it looked like there was a little spark between Molly and Torian at the retreat. You know, they had a moment of vulnerability about, you know, balancing work and family life. And I do still, I'm not sure if I want this to happen. It's cute, but this is also a coworker. And I don't want Molly to make this decision just because it's there. They do ultimately decide that she should give him the green light, you know, per the Jumanji-like essence. You know, they took it as a sign. That song came on. Now it's stuck in my head. But, you know, she decides to give him the green light that she would like to take the relationship a little bit further, because since the retreat, they've gotten their brand revival approved by the firm partners, and they're communicating a little bit more, and there feels like there's a little bit more flirtation, and neither of them is going up to, they get up to the line and then they back away from the line. So Molly decides to give Torian the green light, and we will see what happens. Again, I don't know if I want that for Molly or for Torian. I don't know. So Issa starts, per the hat, Issa starts reflecting on the situation with Lawrence. And she feels guilty about the way that things were left. I don't know. Should Issa feel guilty? I don't know. I'm still sitting with that. But she feels guilty because she truly did love Lawrence. And he's had this huge life-changing event as far as having a kid. And she hadn't even reached out to him about having that baby. Now, should she have? Y'all slide in the comments and let me know. What do you owe to exes who you really care about, but things just, the situation just wasn't good? Should you still keep in touch? Is it too soon to keep in touch? I don't know that she should feel guilty about that. I understand why she feels guilty about it, but she made the decision that she felt was best for her at the time. So there then becomes this question of, did you make the smart choice versus the right choice? Now, in her mind, you know, she reveals to the girls that she ran into Lawrence with Condola and with the baby and said the baby looks tall. Like, girl, what? And she perceived that relationship to be one that's happy, and he's moved back home, back to their area. So she thinks that they're now in this happy place. And it's so interesting how we can perceive things from the outside looking in, because we are privy to the fact that that situation is a hot mess. But we'll get into that a little bit later in the episode. And Kelly reveals to her, like, listen, they were at Simone's birthday party and it was quite tense. So that situation might not be what you think it is. But I really did like the conversation about the smart choice versus the right choice, as far as Issa wanting to be a step parent to this kid, to this situation that, you know, we've seen be quite messy. And Tiffany makes the point that every decision that's smart might not necessarily be right. It just has to make sense to you. And I think that that's something that more of us need to think about and sit with in real life. You can't really make deep personal choices for yourself based on other people's perceptions, based on what might look right to other people or what we've been taught is the right way. One of the greatest gifts of therapy for me personally is having the awareness to know that I have enough freedom in my life to shape my life into it being what I want it to be, even if that doesn't look right to other people, because other people are living their lives based on their set of circumstances and based on what's right for them. For example, I'm from Atlanta. I have always put home ownership on a checklist of just things that you are supposed to do as an adult. But living in New York, first of all, we all know real estate here is like astronomically overpriced. And I started to feel like I'm not a real adult because all of my friends back home in Atlanta are buying homes and I'm not. So I'm not a real adult. I must in some way be failing. Maturity and therapy and other friends helped me to understand that's not your life, and it's no indication of where you are in the totality of your growth that you're not a homeowner. Do you even want to be a homeowner? And when I thought about it, I was like, no, I don't. I'm not prepared for that responsibility. I'm not prepared to, if something happens where I get a job opportunity in Paris or LA or something, I then have to worry about selling a house. I'm not prepared for the permanence that comes with home ownership and the responsibility that comes with home ownership. Now, if I did that, of course, whatever happens in life, you figure it out, you work it out. But just an example of the fact that there's the smart choice and there's the right choice. And you have to ultimately learn, what do I want? And live your life according to what I want, according to what you want, not according to what other people might say or think or do. And I think that's what Issa's kind of grappling with right now. I'm wondering, her choice to not be with Lawrence, given the situation with Condola, was that based on other people's perceptions? Was that based on the fear of the messiness? Is that what she really wanted to do? And I think that it was, but of course, like, we can have regrets about our choices, and you're never going to know 100%. Like, if it was the right thing to do, it made sense at that time. My favorite quote from Moonlight: "You ain't got to know right now." You don't have to know everything at every moment. You made the choice that was right for you in that moment, and that can change, but that made sense then. Anyway, let me move on. So the ladies get ready to go to dinner, and I just want to pull over right here as somebody who was very judgmental of the fact that Issa had a relationship with wedges that I didn't agree with. I don't agree with wedges as a concept. There are maybe 4 pair of wedges that I have seen in my life that I will allow. None of them were on Issa. So I just want to take a moment to celebrate that, yes, Issa did wear a good shoe. I agree with Tiffany. That was a cute shoe. The ladies are getting ready to head out to their dinner reservation, and Tiffany reveals to the group that Derek has gotten a job in Denver and he's going to take it. It would be really good for their family. He has family there. Money would go further. And she obviously feels anxious about it because what if she gets depressed again? You know, what if they have another baby and she gets depressed again and the ladies aren't right there? And having a friend move away that you are so close with is a challenge. I mean, I am the friend who moved away. And like they said, you just have to be more intentional. There are people who are intentional about keeping up with me, and there are people with whom I'm very intentional about, you know, making sure that I'm still in their lives. And it takes a little bit of extra work, but I think moving away or walking your own path in life kind of forces you to evaluate who is most important to you. And so I really like the way they navigated that conversation of like reassuring her that, yeah, we might have to put in a little bit more extra work for everyone to get together, but we will still be here for you no matter what happens. So they decide not to go to dinner, which I was just like, well, what y'all gonna eat? These cookies and this like random dip? What did they end up eating, y'all? Like, that was bothering me. Anyway, so they, make like a little picnic park style thing, like on the balcony, and smoke and just, vibe out, which just looks so peaceful. It really made me miss my friend KD. Shouts out to KD. I cannot wait to see her and her lovely home. And Dro calls Molly. Now, let me say this. The situation with Dro is one that I really need and want to see wrapped up. I really need to see, I need some closure on that relationship. I don't feel good about where things were. I still have questions. And Molly assumes that he's calling to check on her mom. Don't tease us with closure with Dro if we're not going to get more story with Dro. Don't just throw that in there for no reason. I need to know what he called for. Yeah. Issa decides that this is a good time to call Lawrence. She's taking this whole Jumanji hat game as a sign, and Molly correctly tells her, like, this is you being inconsistent. If you don't really know what you want to do, why would you call this man and just complicate everybody's life? You don't know what you're doing with Nathan. You also aren't sure what you want to say to him. Why are you calling this man? So I'm really happy that Molly admonished her to hang up the damn phone. So the next day, the ladies leave. They depart. They've had this lovely evening where none of the plans worked out, but they still had a good time. And in that, just the beauty of life. So Nathan calls, and I am just so grateful. Even though it's fictionalized, I'm so grateful to see a man be accountable. He admits that he was being childish in the conversation about love. He tells Issa, I love you and I always have. And I was just like, oh, put it in my veins. I was here for the accountability. I was here for the maturity. I'm here for the fact that he identified that, yes, he can be avoidant, and he doesn't want to be avoidant with her this time. He wants to stick around, and they're going to continue on this relationship. But I have not forgotten what transpired hours earlier. You called your ex. You clearly have unresolved feelings with your ex. Is Nathan just a thing of convenience? Do you really want this man? I have questions. As an aside, Condola and Lawrence have a really nice night together as well. He drops the baby off. He and Condola are getting along well, and they have this come to Jesus moment where they both recognize that things were not good in the beginning, and they just want the best for each other. I kind of peeped like maybe a look of longing from Condola to Lawrence. Like, are you feeling like you want him to be your man? Your man, your man, your man? Or are you just happy that y'all are in a better place co-parenting wise? Like, what is that? I'm happy that they're in a better place co-parenting wise, but is this like leaving the door open for possible relationship here? And then is that why Lawrence ends up calling Issa? I want to know, okay, I feel like maybe Lawrence called Issa because he wants to know for sure that the door is closed there. That's what I think. I still don't know what I want to happen with these people. I don't have an ideal ending here. Let me just say that. I don't have an ideal ending. I feel like, why should we exist in a binary where it's Lawrence or Nathan? Maybe it's a whole other third option out there. Who knows? I don't know how I want this to end. I'm just along for the ride. So let me know what you guys think about the season thus far. Let me know what you thought about this episode. Slide down in the comments. Are you for Torian and Molly getting together? What is Lawrence calling to say? Should Issa still be with Nathan? I don't even feel like she should have got with Nathan because her feelings for Lawrence are so unresolved. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Be sure to like and share and comment and subscribe and send me money via Patreon. You watching these videos for free, you may as well shoot your girl a couple dollars. help me out. I want to become wealthy. I want a stacked bank account. You know, I have many things that I would like to purchase for myself. So, anywho, thanks you guys for tuning in, and I will talk with you soon. Bye.